That's the definition of a commander. And that makes this week even more purposeful in a lot of ways, because now that Adam and I aren't just picturing it, we've actually seen it. And that's a really big deal. So starting this process last year, we had a hell of a draft class. And we're looking forward to following up on that for this year, especially now that we know who we are even more clearly. It makes this process even stronger. Our rookies played real time and had significant roles for us last season. We counted on them as teammates, not as rookies, and that started from the day they walked in the door, and we're really counted on in that way. So a lot of cool things to think back over 1 year's time, and can't wait to get rocking with you guys today. So let's get it ripping. The creativity part, I think that's what I see most in this group. Here's the big ends that can move down. Here's outside guys that can go inside. Those, to me, are things when you want a league of matchups and who can you work on, who can you go against, that adds a lot of value. Yeah, I've gone against Kellen a lot, like every day in practice for years. So I would say I have a good sense of, what Kellen is. He's a fantastic play caller. I think that's at the core of, being on an offense and doing it in different ways. That's what makes an excellent coach. And so what Kellen's offense looked like this year was different than in LA and also different in Dallas. And I think that's the mark of an excellent coach, to find the things that feature the players the best. And I think over the last 3 years, Kel has really demonstrated that, from Dallas through LA and then to Philly. So deserving for him. Go ahead, Ben. I thought the first thing I thought of, I was pleased to see treatment of families, and that goes to Josh, honestly, and Adam. There's no gap in between what he says and what he does. And so to have that type of reflection in a year is really big. We told him how important this was to us. He heard that from the players and then took action on that. And I think that's honestly like what that relationship has been for us. What do you need to win, and how do we go about and do that? And so to see things like family support and having that increase, that's really big. The families, our families, players, coaches, the organization, they make a lot of sacrifices for us to do what we can do. And so to have that right there, team travel, all those, to me, just reflect back to Josh and the vision of what it can be. And I couldn't be more proud to be a part of it. It's probably bigger than like this specific things, but what at the very front of the line, man, are we looking for like the competitive spirit in a player, and guys who just absolutely love ball. They're willing to show that connection to their teammates, and some of that shows up in meetings like it does here, about leadership, about tell me some examples. The tape and that part of the evaluation, that's clear, but we also want to go full circle and make sure it's so important the people that we bring in to this crew are going to be part of an outstanding group, and we want to make sure every single thought we can do to add to that, we will. And so that's much clearer to be able to see that on full display going into this year. Well, I'd say looking at the whole survey overall, we all of us, want to chase improvement. And that's this year, that's next year, that's the year after. And so I love this crew that we get to work with, but it's an organization, like we do all the things, so many things together. And that's why I wanted to, kind of give a shout out to Josh and the vision of what it can be here. And we're going to work really hard to make that vision come to life.
Hey, to that end, internally, every circumstance is different, personnel, etc. But when you think about your second go around as a head coach versus the first,
Right.
what was it internally that was different for you, or that you really zeroed in on doing differently?
I think oftentimes when people think of me, it's culture, and I want to make sure like culture and environment are so much different. Environment isn't upbeat, and I see the world in that way from a positive outlook. But culture is how we get down every day, and that's the identity of our team, our behaviors, our habits. And so I wanted to make sure that type of identity and team, you could do that, but it would have to be through the team. Like because you put something on the wall doesn't mean that's who you are. It's how you live and how you get down all the time. And so the play style, the identity, those were things that I thought that had to be at the top of the pile about what we would want to build. As far as me specifically, I just wanted to make sure I could get all my focus on the team, and fortunately, having Adam shoulder to shoulder with me allows me to fully express myself with these guys. So I'm certainly fortunate to have him as a partner as well.
A couple rules aside, just a couple things on the rules front.
Yep.
Where do you lie when it comes to technology and expanding that replay? I remember one game you guys against Pittsburgh.
Yes, yeah, so close. Like usually you're really in favor of it when it goes your way. What I would say is like one of the best parts of coaching, like the learning never stops. And 20 years from now, we'll be talking about some different things and how it adds. So I love when we have new technology ideas, whether it's a tablet on the sideline, more cameras for replay. The jobs of the referees are so challenging. So to add some guardrails in there of replay assist and things that due to technology, like that's a really big deal. And it also, this is how this generation of ball players learn and function. Like they're excellent in that space. So can we help them learn better? Yes, and if we can, the performance on the field will be better, and we all want that. So I'm absolutely in favor of things. Can we get it better? Can we be more efficient doing it? And technology is a big piece of that.
So more specifically, like the idea of not having a chain and being able to use the technology.
I am, especially if we can like more efficiently market, and then the game keeps going and we keep rocking. Sometimes you're on that drive and you want to keep going and keep moving the ball, and so having ways to do that. Can you do it in a big pile on a quarterback sneak? Probably not, but there's other ways that you can to spot it, and when it's close, can you identify it and work quickly? Yeah, I'm down for that. Nikki? Buy-in's not a term that I use that often, honestly. I just want to talk about, like, this is how we're going to do things moving forward. I knew it wouldn't be for everybody, Nikki, in that way, but I also knew I was looking for connection between one another, how hard they would play for one another, how they would communicate together, and so those things I saw improving. I knew if we were going to be a good team, we would play a lot better at the end than we would at the start. We were going to work hard at our skills. We were going to work hard at that. But you also needed some proof. To have belief is one thing, but it is results. And so I would say it got stronger of winning close games. So I would say, Nikki, the second half is probably where belief turns into or maybe I should say hope turns into belief. And somewhere in the November, December, hope transferred into that. Now, hope is good. You want that, but the belief is we're going to make this play. We're going to convert to fourth down. We're going to get the stop. We're going to win on this drive. That's when I saw that belief take place.
What was your interview like with Jaden, and what do you want to see him focus on this offseason?
Number one, we visit a lot, so it's not like, hey, I've been waiting all year to talk to you about this. It's an ongoing process. And one of the things that I love about him and why we don't try to put expectations at the start, he's literally the definition of that. Constant improvement and going for it and keep getting better. And so those are the things as we're going into year two, there'll be a number of things for him that this is my expectations for him and for all the guys is to how much better can we get as players, the coaches, the staff. And so for him, there'll be some things specifically with his game that we want to work on, and knowing him, that's exactly what's going to happen. And I do love that about our team. Somewhere, I had not talked to him today, but Bobby Wagner is somewhere getting better today. And I don't know where it is or what it looks like or how he's doing it, but that's the type of attitude that we want to chase. Constant improvement, digging for it hard, and if he can do it, then everybody else in the organization kind of follows suit into that space. So that's Jaden, that's all of his teammates, that's me. And we're never arrived, and that's how we want to go after it as hard as we can. We're gonna work our ass off to relentlessly improve and get better in a lot of ways this year.
We got time for 3 more.
One more time. There's no doubt for me the interactions, and this is my first time to hear their story. A little bit of their why, who the important people are in their life, the journey, and it speaks a lot of time to resilience and to team, and to see why they've accomplished so much. It could have been a family member, a friend, whatever that is. Usually it doesn't take too many degrees of separation to find out somebody, and so that's what today is, man. No stress on these guys. I just want to get to know them, man. Get to find out. I want to hear a little bit about what they did in college, how they played ball, what their assignments were, how they communicated together. The tape in our interviews, we do almost 50-50 and split the time between background, a little bit of their story, and then get it onto the tape. So it's a great first step in that part of the communication. But what we have learned since 5 years ago, we can communicate a lot online. And a lot of the coaches doing that. We do that with the ball players. And sometimes just those one-on-one times to get to talk. And, hey, man, you can relax. It's an easy setting, man. You don't have to over-try. I just want to know who you are and how you get down. And so if I could get to that part first, and then you'd be surprised if you look back at your notes, somebody's on your team, hey, man, at the combine, you told me about your little brother, you told me about the impact your mother had. That helps that connection start faster. And so that's what I love about this start of it. Let me go. I'll come back to you, Ben. Yeah, I've got so much regard for Brian. So I actually worked with him years ago at the New York Jets, and it was then that I probably saw, how excellent he was. Both of us probably had a little less chrome and a little more juice on some things, but I knew then that he had rare things about him. And so it was an easy connection, him going to Georgia. I had just done that at Florida. So many parallels that I've kept up with him through the years. Then to be, on the same staff with him for 2 years, he helped me a lot. First as an analyst to help look ahead and find some things, and then also, obviously, and then when he switched back to coaching on offense. So he's going to do a fantastic job. He's got high-level coaching, high-level relatability, and when you put those two things together, that's a really rare combination. And he's got them both.
Dan, last one.
Thanks, Ben. Yeah.
No problem.
Hell of a guy.
What are I guess some of the things you thought about? This is wrong. Do this again. We need to work on this. What are some of those things, and how you kind of see improving on that or fixing that?
Yeah, and I thought going into each game, there's some things, hey, man, to play like we're capable, this has to happen. And we thought going into that one, we'd have to really be ahead on the turnover margin, to knock a ball out, to get one back. And to their credit, they were the ones that got into the turnover margin. That's, as you guys know, how difficult it can be to lose when you don't create any and you give a few away.